Bam, bam, bam. Ho, 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 ho. Merry, merry hair Christmas, everybody. How you guys doing out there? I know you guys have watched some sports. You probably did a lot of kissing under the mistletoe. Maybe you opened up a couple of gifts, or if you're like me, did you venture off into the movie world to go see The Color Purple? Because I did go check it out earlier this afternoon. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to our 89th episode of The Dumbest Ish That People Say About Black Hair. And it's Christmas Day. So, I think it's ironic that we would land on Christmas Day for our podcast. And so we hope that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful holiday. If you don't celebrate Christmas, maybe you're just off, just chilling. You know, you got your phones, your earbuds are in, and you rocking it out with me and Cheryl, aka the Hair Oracle, is in the house. So what's happening? What's happening, Miss Cheryl? How's it going?
Everything is well. I mean, Happy New Year. Happy holidays to everybody.
She all ready for the new year, everybody. Come on.
As you can truly see, right?
She like, we're going to move on past Christmas and we're going to hop right on into the new year. So welcome, welcome, welcome. How was your, are you doing anything? Did you have anything special, or you just kind of chilled and everything?
I don't want nothing special on no holiday. I want it to be very uneventful.
Well, my niece, we gave her a surprise graduation party. And so we partied like it was 1999. So I was turning up yesterday, like, woo! Of course, I was like, oh, Rashida, what's up? I had too much to drizzy, drink. How you doing out there? What's happening, Miss Sandra? Rashida, I miss you. Cheryl and I, oh man, we wish we was hanging out together, don't you, Cheryl?
Oh my goodness. What's up, Rashida?
What's up, Rashida, on that? She probably still celebrating her birthday. What's up, Into the Night and Paranormal Talk Radio? Woo-hoo! That sounds kind of fierce. Welcome to the chat again. We are on our 89th episode, and we are talking about the top 5 mistakes in Afro hair care. But check this out. These are driven by our top 5 videos, given the platform is about the dumbest ish that people say about black hair. We thought, hey, it's the end of the year, and what better way to wind down some of the top videos and lives that we have been doing this past year so far. And so we've got some really good talking points. Rashida says she's at work. Okay, now. So you know what we're going to do right before we get started, as we wait for some more people to come in the chat. We are going to play our lovely, lovely theme song by none other than Miss Rachel Evans, and it's called Sister, Let Me Do Your Hair. And we must say again that if you like this song a lot, do know that you can go to Amazon Prime and you can pay for the download of our dear sister, Miss Rachel Evans. So let's get it started. Y'all come on in, get y'all little plates of food. If y'all got some little, apple pie or sweet potato pie or some water, maybe you're just chilling like us, and we'll listen to some of Sister, Let Me Do Your Hair. Here we go, y'all. It's coming. It's coming. There it is. Hey. What's up, Theo? It's so nice to see you in the chat. Hey. Beautiful. Hey, y'all turn y'all up. Y'all turn it up. This is the jam. I want you to help you. Let me help your light to shine through. I'd be so very happy if you will let me do your hair. your hair. Me and Theo, we'll hook y'all up. Theo, he know he can do some hair. I done became his #1 fan. Theo, I'm all on your Facebook page, like a true stalker, Theo, a true stalker. Hey, come on, let us do y'all hair. Come on in. Come on in.
Sister, survivor of when you've been through heartache and struggles.
Rashida said she needs some of that mushroom coffee. That would be nice.
We had some this morning.
You'll be so very happy
if you will let me do your hair. Hey, let us do your hair. Come on in. It's a wonderful podcast tonight. We're going to have a wonderful, wonderful discussion. You guys are going to enjoy this countdown. Hey. And let me do your hair. Hey. The best part right here. Here we go. Yes, this back in the day, y'all, we used to go for a ride in the car and just listen to some jazz. We go back in the day. Some Gerald Wright, some Najee. Come on, y'all. Hey, some Thelonious Monk. The Miles Davis, y'all know that bitch is real. Come on. The Fela Kuti, come on, y'all. All right. Nothing to just kind of get your groove, get your mood, get just your food, get everything going tonight as we are on again, we're on our 89th episode. We're moving into the new year. And so today we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful topic. And these are all about the top 5 mistakes that we make when it comes to Afro hair care. And so all of these top 5, each individual talking point is driven by the number of views per the live streams that Cheryl and I have been doing. And so we've done pretty good here on YouTube, seeming as we don't advertise on this channel. We don't pay for advertisement. Cheryl and I, we are not influencers. If you are new to the channel and you don't know who we are, we're actually working stiffs right here. Cheryl is an heiress to the California Curl Empire. She is also an editor-in-chief of the San Diego Monitor News, as she is also a cosmetic trichologist. Me, I'm just Kilolo from down the way. You know what I'm saying? No. So I am an actual working cosmetologist. I'm also an activist, an author. So we're really working people. So we are not influencers. So our audience are on all of the platforms. They're very genuine. They're very authentic. And so we really appreciate all of the support that you guys have given us so far throughout 2024. It's hard to believe. No, in 2023 that we're going into 2024. I'm just like, man, it's like, it seemed like just last year, Sandra, like I was like in high school, hip hop was like dope. And now I'm like, look at this shit right here. I used to have black hair. What happened?
Yep. What happened?
What happened? I don't know. I was like, I don't know. But anywho, um, we got some current events. All right. So, I always like to start us off with some of our current events. So, the first current event did anybody go and see The Color Purple today? Let's just start off with that. Now, this was definitely touted as a musical. And so I did go and see it this afternoon. My colleague and I, my boss, Lavina, that was my Christmas gift to her because she talked about that, she just loves the, musicals and she likes The Color Purple. She wanted to see it. We were dressed up, she had a little purple on. We just looking real cute, you know what I'm saying? So I went to see it. So nobody in the chat. Okay, Rashida, you said you haven't seen it yet, but you plan to. Cheryl, do you want to see The Color Purple number 2?
No. I don't go see anybody maybe twice. After you see the greats, in my opinion. I think my little brother was telling me, "You want to go see Usher?" Hell nah. I saw him when he was 15. I don't want to see him at
You don't
40.
want to see Usher as an old man? I do. I want to see Usher. I want to see Usher. There are some people like I don't care how old Kara's want to get. Listen, baby, I'm gonna be an audience as one. Criminal minded, you've been blinded. I just can't get enough of them old school hip hop heads. I go see his ass. Listen, hey Rashida, I caught the plane to go see Ice Cube and them, baby. Okay, so some people you just can't let go. But
Yeah.
you might can't let go of a good hip hop act. But I'm telling you, The Color Purple number 2. I'm going to now. This is just me. You got remember Cisco and Ebert? They had thumbs up and then they had thumbs down. So I am going to give The Color Purple number 2, the musical, a good old fashioned Cisco and Ebert Ladosha, right? Thumbs down. I did not like it at all.
Wow.
I didn't like it at all. Well, from what I was told, that it was supposed to be something. It was actually supposed to be different. From the first one, I was kind of under the assumption that they were going to somehow take it to the next level. I don't know. It was supposed to be different. But I don't want to. I don't want to be a buzzkill, for everybody and say why. I'll just wait for some people to just kind of go and see it. But I'm just gonna say I did not like the newest rendition of The Color Purple. I did like Taraji's acting and the lady who played I forgot what Oprah Winfrey's character's name was. Sophia. Okay. So I thought she definitely stole the show. Without her, I don't know. I can see why Taraji wanted to get paid. I don't know if you all are aware, but Taraji gave an interview where she said that was it that they didn't want to pay her or they wasn't paying enough? Which one was it? Do you remember how that went, Cheryl?
I think she just broad stroked it and made it. She didn't really make it about The Color Purple. She just said she almost didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys.
And then she went into the pay that white actresses have to keep renegotiating their worth.
Wow. Yeah. When it comes to Hollywood and the music industry, I mean, to me, I just feel like until they allow people to make application and know what the job requirement is and what your pay structure is, and they just gonna, they just gonna be getting got out here. You know what I'm saying? Not that that makes it any better, but at least in the other, I call it the real world of work. Like I know when I go into work, I know how much money I'm going to, make off of a hairstyle or a hair color, or a book sale. But I am surprised that Taraji isn't able to create, wealth outside of her acting career, given this lady is mega talented. Okay. So to me, she should be able to not solely rely. I'm not. Don't come after me now. I'm not saying don't pay the woman because she should definitely get what she knows she's worth. But I think that she should, I mean, do anybody else out here got like a little side hustle? I mean, I don't just do hair. I don't just rely on my income, behind the chair. I sell books, hair care products. I do speaking engagements. So, I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, you can do multiple streams of income, which is fine, but I do understand that your main career occupation should be able to suffice,
Right. I
especially
mean,
especially if you love it.
mine's does, but I don't think I could just do hair. It's so much fun to be a human and be alive. I mean, you can do anything. And I'm not saying that she does not have other. I'm sure she. I mean, damn. I mean, she's Taraji, so I'm sure she has some other, avenues of income. She did not share that with us, so that was just But I don't know. But so that's the other current event. Our other second current event. I hope y'all didn't have to travel this holiday season because here it goes again. Southwest. Listen, in the chat right now. What's the worst airline? I mean, the flying is just not. It's like catching the damn bus. What happened? Do anybody remember when they used to feed you on the airplane and it used to be so nice to fly, and now it's like catching the bus. So I'm gonna type in the chat that the worst airline to me is Frontier with what's that other one? Southwest coming in a close second. Okay, so
No, no. Spirit.
Spirit. I don't think I flown Spirit.
You don't want to.
Oh, I don't think.
It's below Frontier.
Oh yeah. Frontier is coming in at number one in the chat. The worst airline you've ever had to fly. Now remember, if you are watching this posted live, we always welcome your chat. So okay, Sandra says Southwest and Spirit. Rashida says Spirit is second. I have not flown Spirit yet, but yeah. I miss Continental. That was a good airline. I hear Delta's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Delta has maintained, but at the end of the day, the quality of flying of 20 years ago and 30 years, yeah. I mean, it used to be a major event.
Right. I don't know. Well, what do I know, guys? I'm just the old hairstylist up in here. You know what I'm saying? So that was the other one. So also I see what's happening right before we get ready to hop into our topic. When I look, I get my current events off of YouTube, and I mean off of Yahoo News. So I'll just type in like hair news and just kind of trying to see where they're going with hair, in the news. And I've been watching it for about a month now, and it seems to be that hair growing peels and serums are on the uptick. So as we get into the topic today about the top 5 mistakes that people make in Afro hair, what do you think about this uptick in hair growing, peels and products? And do you think that this is a good trend? Is this something that people are asking for? And in the chat, let us know. Are you interested in any product that is going to make your hair grow or claiming to make your hair grow? So Cheryl, what do you think about that? And
well, besides naturally, if you need a hair pill, I think you need more than that.
What you mean by that?
A hair pill to make your hair grow, it should be growing by itself. And if you need a pill for that, you probably need a pill for something else. Is what.
Oh, okay. So are you saying that these things don't really make the hair grow? Maybe, or sort of, kind of, in some shape or fashion.
Well, the peel would have to impede on what's making it not grow if it's not growing.
Hmm.
There's a
Hmm.
there's and most people when they say their hair doesn't grow, they are not realistic about that. Because of course they would have to prove it to a trichologist or something to prove that it is the same length as it was last year, right?
Right.
And so most people take hair pills because they want longer, more fuller, thicker hair and not so much. So it may be a collagen problem, it could be anything, but the pill should offset what is assuming your hair is not growing, just assuming your hair is thinning, just assuming all those things. The pill would offset that, not to make your hair actually grow. Does that make
Wow.
sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Sandra, she says, in her opinion, everyone hair grows. The issue is how to actually maintain and keep the length as it grows out. I know we've talked about that, but we do have some new people, in the chat, and they may not be familiar with the topic altogether. So, what are your thoughts on her perspective? Is about maintaining the length.
Well, the main problem is that black people think hair is growing is akin to how white people's hair grow, and that's long. Black people's hair becomes thicker first. It doesn't achieve length first or in length. And we govern everything by long because long is the desired state. But then we say we're black and Afrocentric, and long is anti length. So
Okay.
if you we only think that hair is growing and we govern it by our shoulders. We don't govern
Um,
it by thickness. We don't do
That's
that.
a conference. So I know we'll hop back around to it, but as we go into our top five mistakes that people make when it comes to Afro hair, do you think this? What do you think about the trend? I mean, every time you pop on, you go onto your search engine, you will see that something, and you're also seeing dermatologists are getting involved into the sales of products that's going to make your hair grow. So what do you think about that per se?
Dermatologists are the first ones that should know better, um, but they don't. They're they
I never know what's gonna come out your day.
well they exploit the ignorance. They exploit the ignorance because we have to. You first have to determine a person's hair is gonna grow regardless of anything. But when we say I want my hair to grow, we are connecting that to long length, shoulders, the hair growing down. They already know that black people's hair don't do that. They
Hmm.
know that. So you have to pull it down. And if you get this in December and you get this in December, that you say your hair is not, but you're only determining if it's growing unless it's growing this way.
Hmm.
But it's diametrically opposed to what that is. Black people's hair don't grow that way.
Hmm. Well, okay, y'all. I'm with you, Sandra Gone, Cheryl. So before we get into the topic, let's give some super shout outs because the chat is growing. So again, you are into the 89th episode of the dumbest ish that people say about black hair. So welcome, Facebook. Welcome, LinkedIn, and welcome our YouTube family. We got Miss Sandra E., our virtual co-host, is in the chat. We got my main man, Chris Hines, who's liking my hair. Chris is the reason why I started that nail polish line, by the way. So can we
Really?
give a big up? Yes, he would. During the pandemic, that's how I grew my social media because everybody was like freaking out. like they didn't know what to do. So I was on social media, like trying to, make some things happen. And Chris was like, you should, your nails are always done. You should try a nail polish line. So when people talk about social media like being absolutely horrible, I kind of beg to differ. So big ups to Chris Hines. If it wasn't for him, I would not have had the nail polish line. Though the company did go out of business, I do plan to do that again. So thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you. My cutie pie daddy. See, Dad, I call my hair daddy. You see, I knew daddy might be coming through. So daddy, what's happening? What's happening? My BFF Rashida is in the chat. We also have LB. Luana, how you creeping? Come on, you done got past me. What's up, Luana? Is in the chat. We have Into the Night, Bigfoot, and Paranormal Talk Radio. Ooh, I gotta go check that out. Hey, y'all go over to that channel and we gotta support each other. So go check out Into the Night, Bigfoot, and Paranormal Talk Radio. I hope that's a real live page right here on YouTube, because that is a truly dope name for a YouTube handle. And then my homeboy Theo, who's fine in real life. Okay. All right. I wasn't ready. He walked up on me. I was like, okay, Theo. I felt like, what's in it? Okay. So everybody, what's up? What's happening? What's happening? We appreciate you guys so much for supporting us. So we're going to go ahead on and hop right into the topic now. What I did was I went through our catalog of the podcast, right? And I said, well, which ones did we get views the most? Because remember, this platform, this particular one, we have two, but this one is all about, the dumbest ish that people say about black hair. And so the dumb stuff leads to a lot of loss in money and loss in time. And in our industry, those words are synonymous. We don't think customers should be spending oodles and oodles of money and wasting oodles and oodles of time on hair. Not that you can't get around it.
Right.
Some things cost, like color. And I don't know if there's a such thing as an affordable hair color, but money means value means different things to different people. Time, I'm not saying you can do a hairstyle. Every hairstyle is like 2 minutes. However, some hairstyles just should not be taking all day. When we go into this topic and we look at the actual name of the podcast, this is what we're all about, is that dumb stuff that costs you pretty much a lot of time and a lot of money. And based off of these views now, I have a bonus one on there as well. So I picked the videos that pretty much ranked anywhere between, live streams that ranked anywhere between 400 and 300 views. Okay. Again, we're kind of new here. We are not influencers. We are real cosmetologists. And so we're giving this to you guys from actual lived experiences behind the chair, based off of these are the dumb things that you say about black hair that cost you money and it costs you time, which of course that's going to make it a big mistake. Number one, the biggest mistake that we see based off of the videos the live stream that you guys have liked is the lack of education. And it's funny because as we move into the new year, we're going to talk about how does that hurt us. So when you think about the top 5 mistakes, Cheryl, what is it about education on hair that makes it, not having the education, that's going to make it a mistake? How does education help improve, what things cost and so on and so forth?
Well, one of the things that I found now that we can kind of talk about as we recap was just the fact that the natural hair as a movement, they assumed that we didn't have it. They assumed that they needed to go on video from 2000 until today, and they probably have slowed down within the last 3 years, but They spoke to the customer or the consumer or the viewer as if we did not have any. And so that's when they began to come up with,
Okay,
oh,
but now let me. Y'all know I gotta play devil's advocate. I have to do this, Cheryl. I have to. Oh, by the way, Into the Night, Bigfoot and Paranormal Talk Radio says yes, that is a actual channel. They are on Facebook and YouTube. So let me put them up in case you want to see what they look like. Oh, there were some brothers. Oh, all right now. Y'all best to go check the brothers out. I'm gonna go on there and check them out as well. So again, Into the Night, Bigfoot and Paranormal Talk Radio. I can only imagine what's happening on that channel. But as soon as I get up, I'm gonna check them out. Okay. Um, so um, so here's the thing. Now, you beat up on this term natural hair, all right? But are, it's got to have some merit in somehow, some way, because people really think that there's something unique. Because people will ask me all the time, "Do you do natural hair?" I struggle with it.
oh
I
yeah,
do. I struggle.
absolutely.
Any barbers and cosmetologists in the chat, let me know if you struggle with it. I don't know why that's such a real thing. So can you just kind of speak to that as a mistake? This whole natural hair. How is that such a big mistake in Afro hair care? Just that term.
I
Because
think
it's
that,
real. It's
right, right,
real.
right. No, no, it is definitely real. But let's just say the line. Let's just say as a cosmetologist, right? And I do my nieces and nephews' hair before they go to school. Was that natural hair? And then when I go to the salon, I all of a sudden don't know how to do natural hair. I'll do natural hair. I'll do mine, and I'll do my little girls or my nieces. And you know, we all do it. We've all have done it. And the mistake is that natural hair movement did is that they took doing their birth texture in and then repackaged it as if it was an other and then put names and attach, and then the excuse for doing that is that there was no education and they didn't know what to do. They just all of a sudden they didn't know how to wash. All of a sudden they didn't know how to they didn't know how to do it. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, now that kind of trips me up too, because you do have some people who just maybe they didn't have a mom, maybe their mom and dads just did not know anything about hair and had no way to get help, so they had someone do it, or maybe they grew up in a hair salon. But you guys help me. Oh, boss just came through, y'all. Come on, y'all, drop those L's in the chat. What's up, boss? My boss. Hold on. Wait a minute, right quick. Hold on, everybody. Drop your L's right quick in the chat. There's my boss. Happy holidays. I'm so glad I was able to treat you out to the movies. Y'all know you got to take care of your boss out here. I ain't ashamed. I love my boss, okay? Her name is Lavina Joseph, in case you are new to the channel. That is my official boss. But here's the thing when it comes to the natural hair, speaking of what you're saying, for people who don't know. Now, again, this is the dumbest ish that people say about black hair. And though we're making, light of that phrase, we're not trying to teach people who authentically don't know. But what I find with that natural hair thing is that somehow it's taken on a whole nother life of its own, as if it's something other than
right.
hair on other people that requires something uniquely different from other heads of hair. Am I making any sense with that?
No, because of course black men, that's all they do is natural hair, right? Barbers don't do anything but natural hair. And of course, black men, black women have so co-opted into their and sucked it into a black hole of their own because a twist out is the same thing as a young girl wears to second in grade and fourth and fifth grade.
That
See,
they told us, I don't want them kitty hairstyles. You know,
right. And
yeah, I'm
so
like,
there it is only lotion and conditioner and shampoo. I mean, it's not something that Black women have not done before, but the way they packaged it just allowed other races of people to exploit it and co-opt it and really take advantage of the fact that that retail market of African Americans now are enjoyed by so many other races of people that was exclusive to Black hair care prior to the 2000s
mm,
season. And
wow,
so, and in their effort of trying to create the most weirdest, and Black women did it. No other people did that. Black women did it. Because when you walk into a barbershop, the most 9 times out of 10, you're going to run into hair that is akin to Black men's birth texture. They're going to cut it, they're going to braid it, they're going to do all types of things. But for somehow, that doesn't count. That's not called natural hair. It's just called barbershop. It's just called barbering. But natural hair care has turned into such a quasi
so let me interrupt you. So are you saying barbers don't use the term natural hair? Is
yeah,
that
yeah, a brother doesn't
okay?
right.
Danny, I hope you're still in the chat. Can you answer? That's very interesting. I had not. I wish Waverly was in the chat as well, or any barbers in the chat. So barbers don't use this term. They just like, let me cut your hair. Don't
Well,
want to.
right. A customer doesn't walk up to Danny and say, brother, excuse me, before you get started, I want a high top fade, but do you cut natural hair, high top fades, man? Or can I get?
Ah,
They don't reference it like that. Black men
wow.
don't have that um linguistic issue.
Wow. Damn,
Never
that's why I love
incorporate.
this. I love this channel for that. Danny said that's definitely not a term that's often used in a barbershop. Wow, 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 wow. That's okay. Well,
So
wow.
black men have their euphemisms and they have their linguistics still locked into the purest Black hair care legacy. It is the natural hair care movement interlocked with the locticians that it is so culturally outside of our history as Black. It's not encompassed. It really took itself out of cosmetology, took itself out of the legacy, took itself and created an other, and then attached terms to it, and then definitions to it, whole glossary of mumbo jumbo, repackaged it and resold it to the OTC market. And
Wow.
it's
It's
weird.
funny you would say that because Sandra, she said she feels like this when we talk about education, remember guys, the top 5 mistakes that we see when it comes to Afro hair. Okay, we're just letting you guys pure and unadulterated based off of the viewership right here on the dumbest ish that people say about Black hair. The number one mistake so far, I mean, number 5 is the lack of education. So Sandra says it creates a web of lies and confusion, and the lack of education has leaned in to terms such as natural hair. Well, I just found out that barbers don't even use the term. And it's a real live barber in the chat if you're watching this post live. His name is Danny Michael. He works out of Las Vegas. And so he's saying that Cheryl is in fact correct, that barbers, they really don't use that language. This thing called natural hair and all of this. If you are doing this, in the name of trying to understand and care for Afro hair, whether you're at home, you're a foster parent, a mom, a cosmetologist, an aspiring one. The biggest mistake you're going to be making right now is that lack of education. So please make sure you get yourself some. And that's why we hosted the Afro Hair Summit. So, number two was this whole thing about plantation beauty. So that came in as a highly watched. So we talk about mistakes that we make in Afro hair. It's the whole thing about what happened to our hair on the plantation. Things such as greasing scalps, pressing hair, putting lye in hair, things of that nature. So people don't believe that was our narrative. So recap a little bit about the mistake of overlooking when you're talking about caring for your hair, because these are mistakes we don't take into account, that some of this stuff you guys think is new. We actually done it before. It came from the plantation beauty, even the words like nappy and things of that nature. So how does this mistake, overlooking the role that the plantation beauty plays into current day beauty practices?
Mm-hmm. I just think the mistake, one was overlooking, I think, the sociopolitics of the plantation. It was very socio-political. It
Oh, now
was,
you went ham. Now, what you know from the project, Cheryl? What is that? Socio. Y'all know I don't know. Come
well,
on.
let me give you a good example. When you are depriving and oppressing and suppressing people, that on the plantation you create a field and a house, and you create class, and that becomes the social order. And so light skin and red being akin and closer to your oppressor, and then that becomes better. So straight versus coil begins to be akin to the field, and straight becomes akin to the house. And so black people begin to create their own internal hierarchy
Hmm.
and rank. However, with that set aside of the socio-political aspect, right? Set aside, but you're also talking about people who were artistically and chemically and scientifically understanding food sciences and what plants did and what heat did and what lye did and what soap did and what it didn't do. And so you had a very that group, regardless if they were a house or a field, very aware of alchemy and chemistry. And so those not survival, all of them, depending on if you're going into the house or if you're staying on the field and you're a field hand or a domestic, a home domestic or a butler, right? Or an overseer, whatever the case may be in terms of classism. But our tools and things that we use today and how smart and whatever concoctions and how we kept ourselves groomed, which is part of our DNA, in my opinion. I don't think we've ever examined them. I don't think the African American studies professor community or the collegiate community or cosmetology for that matter ever studied the plantation as a science.
Wow. So,
Social, the social aspects of words like nappy, blue vein, light skin, good hair, bad hair, all those things came from the socio-political.
now that's funny. I gotta interrupt you. What's up, Samantha Dixon? We got our Canadian sister in the house. She's the head, the founder of the Black Beauty Cultures League over in Canada. That Shirley and I are anxiously trying to get over there and work with her. So everybody, super duper shout out to my homegirl Samantha Dixon Slaughter. So now hearing you say that this was is it social political, you know, interactions on the plantation, but the narrative that we hear is that they did this stuff to us as if we played no part in trying to, as you say, survive their neurosis. So when you hear things right now, when we talk about top mistakes that people make about black hair, and that is blaming white people for everything as if we've done none of this. So how do we grapple with the role that we play and how we try to survive their neurosis? I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying, but how do you grapple? How do you cope? How can they cope with that narrative? Because we're always told, well, they told us, if our hair wasn't straight, we wasn't cute. And Cheryl on that talk about, they didn't ever say that. They told us, they called our hair nappy. And you're like, no, we called ourselves nappy. How do people, can they find this information anywhere? So take it from there.
I don't think anyone ever wrote about it besides Dr. Morrow in 400 Years Without a Comb. I don't think no one else but a beauty professional would be concerned with beauty practices and how they were developed and began to define Black households as we begin to work and climb the corporate ladder and go into the workforce freely, right? No one has ever cared how the psyche of Black people, you can call it traumatic syndrome if you want to. I don't care what you call it. But when you are coping, right, and trying to survive and trying to take care of yourself, trying to be a free Black American, trying to take advantage of the 14th and 13th, 14th Amendment, and then going through the civil rights movement and Black Power movement, and then the curl, whatever those movements were about, you're still trying to develop a mindset that is conducive and supportive of what you're trying to look like, because you want to go somewhere. Either it's higher in corporate America, or if it's higher in whatever job profession, or you're trying to create wealth and prosperity for your family. Whatever you're trying to go, trying to look appropriate so you can go do those things. And so,
And I think that's the problem, is that you're trying to, survive. We're here. We're not going back to Africa. I guess at some point we all could have went, but our ancestors did not. I don't know if that how much of a viable option that really was. But you still just hear that other part. We hear more of the other half of what they did to us, as opposed to how did we cope to get through so that we can make it and be able to open up businesses and exchange with these people that have identified themselves as white people. But Danny just dropped something in the chat that's super duper dope AF. And he said that would make a cold documentary, The Plantation Laboratory. And I don't know, Danny, but you'd have wet my damn whistle with that one. Can we give it up for Danny Michael? Because I think Cheryl has enough from her father. We might can do something with that, Danny. So we'll make sure we give you 1 penny. No, I'm just kidding, Danny. But no, I like the sound of that. And so Sandra agrees, because that's a mistake, guys. And I know this is really, really hard to again accept and just work with the reality of the role that we have played in our confusion and our language about what we have said. I know for me, I believe the narrative. I'm not going to talk, I'm just always going to talk about myself. I thought everything came from white people that just hated us. So I thought nappy came from white people. I thought good hair, all this stuff, pretty much came from white people. I was for sure they told us that our hair was ugly. you know, and I'm not saying that some didn't. I mean, you got black people who just don't like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about in that regard, but I just mean in general. And so that's a big mistake that we make. When it comes to our hair, is everything that's wrong, we just automatically blame, or that's out. I shouldn't say wrong. It's
Take for example, when you go to school today, the younger black people in this generation, they go to school and they tell you that you can't go to school. You're not following the dress code, right?
right.
They are not. They don't mention why you have to change it. They don't mention. They don't get into details with black people. They never did. They just don't see you. They don't see you. They gave you no lifestyle to be able to be comfortable. You did not have time to do anything for yourself in terms of having implements and tools in the marketplace for you to buy that allowed you to have different features, and for those features to be supported, until like Miss Beth said about the integration of the Afro from the eras of 1968 to 1973, right? You did not have, they don't see you, they don't consider you. And I think that what we don't really understand, how the psychological trauma of not being seen, or just consistently being oppressed and then ignored. So that tells you that you don't look appropriate just by in nature of who you are and how you just naturally show up. So then you begin to change yourself. And then when you change yourself, you have to change yourself because there is no tools to support and for you to use in your hair or skin in its natural state. So you change yourself, but the psychological trauma of changing is what creates words like, and euphemisms like nappy. White people
Right.
did not have to say it, but they inferred that you don't look appropriate and that you have to change. And let me be clear, for black people to say that black people wanted to in straightening their hair or conforming was trying to be white, but for a black person wanting to be white or curly hair wanting to be straight, it's a downgrade. It's not an upgrade. So wanting to automatically downgrade would not be logical. It is to be left alone.
Oh,
It is to be able to move from one position to the next, and one plight to the next, and one condition to the next, one standard to the next, to be able to be left alone and to fit in and to be able to enjoy your life. That kind of, but we don't say that. We attach very cruel and uncompassionate things
right.
to each other, not understanding the psychological restrictions.
All right.
And the
So
physical.
there you have it. We're into our top 5 mistakes that people make about Afro hair. But Sandra in the chat say, now if you making this mistake right now, you really gonna mess up your hair. So in order to help change the narrative about
Right.
mistakes, Sandra asks everybody in the chat right now if you could please just do this right here.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
All right, Cheryl says push that, hit that heart button. It's good, it's good. We had a couple of questions that came through. So this is coming in from our brothers from Into the Night Bigfoot and Paranormal Talk, which, by the way, when we get off, we're all going to go over and check out their YouTube and their Facebook page. I don't know what they're talking about, but the name sure sounds good. He says the issue is that he's got an afro. He needs to lay the hair down without the perm. He just wants that hair to lay down. So can you make an afro lay down? We're talking about mistakes. So that's a mistake. Now, I mean, it's not a mistake that he wants to lay it down. The question is, can he lay down that Afro hair without a chemical?
Um, lay down as in go towards the back area of your head.
I think he meant like
Lay
yeah,
it down. Yeah,
yeah,
lay it
right.
down. That is scientifically and genetically diametrically opposed to what that does. So,
Mistakes, guys.
okay,
You
now,
can't do
however,
it. However,
however, what you can do, what I suggest you do, because hair is a protein, um, it will be able to do that with some physical manipulation, and you may have to, depending on how thick it is, obviously wash it and then just blow dry it, because heat is not bad, but it does stretch the coil and then immediately braid it, so it won't go forward and out like you know God intended it to,
right, right.
right?
So you can stretch
And
it.
right.
Mhm.
And but then it will become, but the moment you put the bio wonderful H2O on it, it's going to go back into, and it's going to move,
All
and
right.
it's going to trigger the coil. Yeah.
All right, so let's lower our expectations. That's a big mistake that we make. Our expectations are too high on what this hair does naturally. So to our paranormal talk people, lower your expectations. If you just want to get it to go back, Cheryl says go ahead on and blow it dry and just braid it down. But understand that once that moisture or whatever, that hair is just naturally going to do what it's supposed to do, and that is just go into the
Coil.
fro, considering you do not want to put chemicals on it. Lawana wants to know whatever happened to the electric rake that clients use to help make hair grow. Again, we're talking about mistakes. So what about that old rake that they used to? I saw that. I don't
The
know. They had,
UVA, yeah, it was the UVA, UVAB, little electrical they used to do in beauty school.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, those are to give you impulses to increase circulation. But the blood portion of the hair follicle is not what activates the cellular division we call hair growth. It's not
Uh-oh.
really in
Hype.
the blood. It's in the it
Uh,
keeps it keeps the tissue healthy, but it is not the activation of cellular.
okay. So it's still around, Lawana. It is definitely still around, but she wants you to take off the end of your sentence. And here she says, guys, whatever happened to the electric rake that hairdressers used on clients to help their hair grow? Cheryl says they are very much still around. However, they do not help your hair grow. So these are the mistakes that we are making when it comes to Afro hair. Number one, we're stepping out of the zone of what the hair can do naturally. Number one, by not having education, creating terms like, natural hair and all that stuff. Also, not taking into account the role that plantation socio what's the aspects took place on the plantation, that us just trying to survive and get through. We're not taking that into account. So that's another mistake that we made. Next up was relaxing 4C hair. And I just want to say that number one, what you said in your video is that you're not relaxing hair. So can you speak to that a little bit? That when you put a relaxer on your hair, you talked about when you wash it off, it is now off the hair. So talk about that relaxing hair as Denise McCrae brags that she's in Daytona Beach having a wonderful time. What is it? What is happening to the hair when you relax it? And of course, that term for C.
Oh my goodness. It's a loaded question. And so, and just to give me some information, why are we making a distinction with 4C hair? Give me a.
So the hair mapping, the hair typing comes out of Andre Walker's hair typing system.
Yeah,
Again,
I get that.
originally that was so the 4C is supposed to be the hair that's the most difficult to manage, and people just not understanding what happens to hair when we relax it. So again, the mistake that you're making, number one, is you're calling it 4C. And then number two, not really understanding exactly what happens to hair when we relax it, because that's going to definitely go into number four. So those two can come together. That was another mistake, that people felt like relaxers were bad. And then number two, the whole 4C hair. So we're not two and
Okay,
three out together.
gotcha. Chemically, let me just say this: you are dissolving the diameter of what a hair strand is, because prior to Andre Walker, it was just super, medium, and regular of a relaxer. And hairstylists assumed that in terms of sodium relaxing, right, that you would use a super on hair that was their coils were very close together. I do not use the hair typing. I think people who do use it are actually paranormal.
Sure. Sure.
They are
Okay, mistakes.
weird.
These are mistakes. We need to stop. We have to stop it, guys. These are mistakes that you are making when it comes to Afro hair. You have to understand, again, number one, you need your education. Number two, you got to understand the role that plantation beauty plays. And I think
So,
Daddy is correct. Yeah,
mhm.
we should definitely do the documentary on that. I like the name of that. And then Shirley's breaking it down. Stop the hair typing. And then number four, you got to understand that when you relax the hair, you're actually making it, you're shrinking the
Right,
diameter. Okay.
right. It's almost like it's the same process of what you would put a peppermint candy. It is a tertiary, secondary, primary, or primary, secondary. It just gets smaller and smaller. It doesn't jump in anywhere and rearrange something, then jumps back out.
Mm-hmm.
Once it is time sensitive, you leave it on 10 minutes, it gets 10 minutes worth of smaller. You leave it on 5 minutes, it gets 5 minutes worth of it's almost like a peppermint candy. You suck on it longer enough for only 2 minutes, it's gonna be still kind of large. You suck
Mm-hmm.
on it until it's thinner, it will get thinner. And then really, really thin, guess what it does?
Comes off. All right.
It
So
just
there you have it.
that's my
Now we are by no means saying you gotta relax your hair. We just want you guys to understand that the hype that's being said about the relaxer going into your skull, and it's penetrating into the hair, and we got to pipe it down. And again, Cheryl has been very overt that the relaxer most certainly should be reimagined. It was a good jump start to get us going, but we are ready to go to infinity and beyond when it comes to hair care. So again, as we talk about some of these top 5 mistakes that we're making when it comes to Afro hair, and that is believing just junk science, people making stuff up. We're being lazy in our intellect as licensed professionals. We're not going back to school to get any more education. We're not even going outside of where the education is to get more education, such as the Afro hair science, because everything that we need to know is not necessarily going to come out of the Milady's book of cosmetology. So that's another one. So our last one, we're doing pretty good on timing. So our last one
about the 4C. I'm just asking.
Yeah, so the first one was Afro hair education. Big
No, I'm talking
mistake.
about the 4C. It was a 2-question prong.
Yeah, that was you addressed that there's no such thing as 4C. Okay, so we got that together. So we have 5 plus the bonus one. I'll put these two together in essence of time. The big mistake that we make in taking care of our own hair is this whole thing about supporting black owned hair care businesses, and we know that they've sold them. So how do we support our own when they're all sold out? Should we continue to buy? I mean, the Miel Organics, the Carol's Daughter. What are people to do with to fulfill their desires to support black owned?
Oh God.
And is that that's a mistake? Is the whole, well, we know it's not black owned, so we do have
Well,
some.
but this is more important than it being black owned, right? And you know, I'll be the first one to say that I've been past black owned probably since about 2005. And when something is black owned, doesn't mean it's black interest, and it doesn't
Uh-oh.
mean it doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean that it's black influenced. Doesn't mean that it is black access. Doesn't have anything to. It's not necessarily connected to anything that moves us forward in terms of equity.
Oh, no, this is hard, y'all. What's up, Hair Savant? Merry Christmas. Everybody say Merry Christmas to Hair Savant. So glad to hear
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Sure, this is so hard. This is really, really hard.
I know. I know.
It's very, very hard because, but do we need black owned hair care businesses? I mean,
Well, we've had them. Well, look what happened. Well, put it this way. We have black hair care, and then we have black founders. What is the difference? What's the difference between the black founders of the 2000 season and then the builders of black hair care? What's the difference?
I don't know.
Come on.
Sandra says the oracle speaketh. What is the difference between a black founder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the black hair care manufacturer? Is that what you're saying?
What is the difference between a Sarah Spencer Washington, Rose Meta Morgan, and Annie Malone versus a black female founder, Lisa Price, Mael, and let's say Tracy Ellis Ross?
I don't know, because they all say that they made their own stuff. I guess one is a celebrity and one is not, because I mean, they all say that they've made their own. Like Tracy Ellis Ross says she made that product. Just like, Rose Meta Morgan and, so I guess the celebrity. Hair Savant, what do you think? I think one is a celebrity and one is not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, come on, y'all. 2 more answers. What is the difference between 1896, 1996? That's 100 years. Right?
Okay. Hair Savant says you have to be black to actually own it. So they may not be the authentic owners of their businesses compared to Rose Meta Morgan. I think that's what he's saying.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. The difference between, let's just say Lisa Price.
Right. That's Carol's daughter.
Carol's daughter, or Miss Jessie's, or
Mayo Organics.
Yeah. And the difference is that or post after George Floyd, they were the white cosmetics. They felt so bad in fashion, and they felt bad, and so they were going to really push 13 Luna or whatever in And let me just say this. First of all, the Madam C.J. Walkers or the Annie Malones, Rosemary Morgan and Garrett Morgan, things of that nature, they were not interested in white money. That's number one. Number two, they built an industrial giant for themselves. And they did not.
Okay, so what's the difference between an industrial giant compared to a Miel Organics or Carol's Daughter? Because they sound the same. So what do you mean by industrial
They're
giant?
out. Right. So an industrial giant means that you own from soup to nuts the science, innovation, education, production, distribution, marketing, and you have
Wow.
the industrial complex. The difference between the new era in the 2000 season of natural hair care, they gave the industrial complex to white money. There is
Yeah.
no there is no industry. There is no it doesn't fuel, it doesn't aggregate back to the an industry that
So
they
you're
own. They only own brands. They don't own an industry. They don't have it doesn't feed into anything. They don't own the distribution channel. They don't own the education channel. They don't own the production channel. They don't own the manufacturing channel. They don't own the innovation because at the end of the day, there's no innovation. There's only mixology. They don't have any that you can't patent anything that they're making. So it doesn't. It only that's you don't have any acquisitions of a black hair care brand in 200 and some odd years.
mm,
Immediately the Y2K natural actually desired to be in the white distribution, white beauty world. They actually thought that was success. And so when you
mm.
have these two different, that is the difference between black owned, all black owned does not, your your black dollar bounces less in the black hair care of Y2K than it did in the black industrial renaissance of 1886
Well,
up to 1996.
I think Sandra said it best. Whoop, there it is. So the biggest mistake that we're making right now, that was the number five. That was the top one. We got a heck of a lot of views on that one right there. Was
Yeah,
black
we
owned hair
did.
care, and so Cheryl is saying, and in fact, guys, we're not. If you think you're buying black, we probably better think about that again. Can you just elaborate a little bit more? The chat kind of went off the Richter scale when you said they were not interested in white money. I'm with you on Sandra. What do you mean by that? I mean, what you talking about, Hopple?
Put it this way. When you build an industrial complex that depends on the innate genius and innovation and teachings and productions and labor force and warehouse labor and all of that through your own people, because black hair care was segregated, right?
Right.
That is the reason, one of the reasons why the lawsuits and the relaxer debacle is claiming, and they want to play the race card and say that these white companies are disproportionately selling to the black customer. Well, they bought black hair care companies that had already had a black demographic. And people who buy companies are hoping that product holds onto its integrity and holds onto its customer base.
Makes sense.
Right. So therefore, but because greedy black folks don't understand, once you go after the race card, you're going to ruin an industrial economic giant that fed, fueled, hired, built, and created jobs in black community. My point is that the motives of the Y2K founder of trying to identify and be and get into the beauty game and then coin themselves that I'm a black founder, they forget the word black hair care meant you were a black founder. but you
Wow.
are attached to the Black hair care industry, which connects you to a full complex pipeline that also people who look like you. Well, the pipeline today, they don't look like them. The moment they drop their product off trying to be somebody and get some kind of prosperity, self-esteem, they want to be on a white shelf. At that point, you lose your industrial complex at that time.
Wow.
That's the difference between the Eunice Johnsons and the Rose Meadow Morgans and the Vera Moores and all of the other ladies that did their that
Wow.
they
You always, man, I'm telling you, you always takes it to the next level. I'm with you, Sandra, out of Canada, building an industrial complex, something that we just don't think about. Sandra says they depend on the black dollars to launch their products. Then they sell it once they reach their level of prosperity. So I guess, when we talk about the biggest mistakes that we're making, again, we got them all for you in 2023. These were the top 5 mistakes fueled by the dumbest shit that we say about hair. It's actually the antithesis. It's counterproductive to any and everything you're trying to do to this thing called black hair. Number 1 is when you don't educate yourself about it. You're going to jack it up. That's number 1. Number 2, if you don't take into account the role of plantation beauty, good, bad, or indifferent, we definitely have something to do with how we created beauty, just trying to survive coming out of slavery off of that plantation. And I know for a fact that our ancestors did a good job, but you're going to keep messing up your hair if you don't take that into account and learn more about it. Also, when it comes to relaxing 4C hair, you want to kick out the term 4C and understand that when you relax that hair, you're just shrinking the diameter per how long you let it sit on your hair. It's not going into your skull, guys. So I know Dick Gregory meant well.
Yeah, he did.
He meant well. Dick Gregory meant well.
But I mean, hey, it's bad when we use sensationalism.
Right.
I don't care who does it,
Right.
but
Well, we love you, Dick Gregory, but you kind of stretching it just a little bit, Uncle Dick. All right. Okay. Now we're on to the attack on the black beauty industry. And again, by way of this whole thing called black owned hair care, we're just starting to realize it's not what we think it is. So as you tout yourself as a black owned, like I'm not there yet. I do have some education. I do have some hair, but I'm not manufacturing. It's levels to this is what I'm starting to realize. It's not just about putting your name on a bottle or slapping your name, on a YouTube channel and doing a couple of celebrities' hair. That does not make you an industrial complex. And that is something that we should be striving for when you talk about being black owned. Is that what you're saying?
absolutely.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right. Well, not just individually becoming an industrial complex in and of yourself. It means that the industry that you are entering, you have access to all floors. And most of those floors are ran and the majority of the people who look like you and the customer you will be serving.
Hey, Cheryl, she be kicking booties and taking numbers. I'm talking about taking no prisoners, taking no short. Last but not least, our bonus topic that came up as the top 5 mistakes. I had to get a bonus one in. Cheryl, what about this whole thing? Black women's hair is doomed. Is that a mistake? That we got a lot of views on that topic there.
Wow.
Black women's hair is doomed. Like we relaxing it, we coloring it, we weaving it. Everything we do, we just messes it up. So is our hair, are we doomed? We're about to enter a new year. Is it all over for us? When it comes to women of color and our hair, is it a done deal? Can we stick a fork in it?
Well, no. If you don't get the right education, I think anything is doomed. Because white women are not. They're not bleaching their hair the way they did it and doing their, no one's hairstyle is static. It returns, it ebbs and flows, and it comes back. And I think what never needs to leave is our love and thirst and keeping education at the forefront of our professionalism, and to make sure that we're raising the scholar each time, and we stay connected to each other, so our educational level within the complex stays fresh, stays informative, and stays cutting edge. And we need each other to do that, and we need to start engaging with all of the other levels within the industry: scientists, hardware innovators, creatives, bloggers, chemists, what all those levels, marketers, designers, and so we can keep ourselves fresh.
Wow. Well, if you were just trolling along, either on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or YouTube, we hope that you have enjoyed our 89th episode in the year of 2023 as we counted down our top 5 videos, and I'm sorry, our top 5 live streams that contribute to the mistakes that we make about Afro hair. We're going to be back in the new year. Now, remember, we have a whole new year schedule. Everything is booked out on both platforms. As a matter of fact, when we come back on Thursday, we're going to do the same thing. But remember, Planet Pluto Pseudo is geared towards professionals. So as you check out America's favorite podcast about Afro hair, we're working on it from the consumer's end as well as the professional end. So we're going to start off the new year talking about the cost of ignorance. And now we're going to go deep because now we got this dumb stuff, right? Now we hop into some truths. I think we had fun making light of all of this stupid stuff. And I think, Sandra, you definitely, this is why I'm so glad that you are our virtual host, and we hope that you'll rock it out with us in 2024. We're going to keep the same time, but we got to talk about that education and the lack of it. As we move into 2024, our theme is all about the truth about this dumb shit that we're saying. So we're going to have to, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But Cheryl, you're going to have to walk us through it because these are going to be some pretty tough topics, because now we're going to have to hold the mirror and look at ourselves and talk about what we could be doing better by way of the truth. So we're going to start off just about what is this costing us in education and dollars and, with our families and our children. How is, us not being truthful? How is that, hurting us when it comes to our hair? Even this whole term called black hair.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have to go there, guys. Any last words about these mistakes that we just, we continue to make them? I don't think we're going to stop, but hopefully those of you who are watching, you will stop making those mistakes. So any last words on that?
I would like to make sure that when we are going forward.
Sorry, right quick. Before you do that, can you just kind of squeeze in about hair growth? LaWanna wanted you to just kind of a little bit, talk about that a little bit, hair growth. So again, last thoughts, and then squeeze in about understanding hair growing.
LaWanna, I cannot switch gears that quick. Okay. In terms of what would you like to know, so I can just get a little specific.
Okay. So drop that in, LaWanna, and then Charlotte's wrapping up, just so we can understand about these mistakes that, they just hurting Black people, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's hurting us. I feel it in the hair salon every day.
Scientifically, LaWanna.
Give her a few seconds because it's a delay.
No worries. I know that traditionally that it is um, taught that and I don't know where she wants me to go, but in terms of it being follicularly generated, um, I know they teach that hair is akin to like you watering grass, right? And then the plants will grow, and then the blood fuels the growth. But the problem with that theory is that growth, rest, and evacuation is secular. It's a cycle. That means that your blood is ever circulating. So, how does the blood fuel something that stops, goes, and then rests, and then falls out?
Wow.
And so, it must be a signal, not blood circulation. Okay.
All right.
And so, I don't know where she wants me to go with that.
I think that's pretty good. I think that's I know for me, I'm like, damn, that was dope. But yeah, I think that's good. We got to understand, like Cheryl said, it's cyclical. There is no sprouting. There is no blood. I've made those mistakes myself, but anywho, that's what we're here for. So wrap it up for us about these that type of a mistake that we continue to make by way of lack of education, as Sandra just pointed out. It's key. So as you wrap us up with these mistakes.
But my last words was that in regard to the relaxer advocates, I would like we are starting a newsletter. So if everyone could that wants to receive the relaxer advocates know what we're doing, what we're talking about it, how we're talking about it, and we're going to give an expert witness a cosmetic litigation course in January. But I don't have any, I don't think we have all of the ones who usually are on the podcast. I don't think we have their email.
Okay, so I'm putting this on the ticker so you guys can, if you are interested, in taking, repeat that course again, right quick, Cheryl.
I wanted to just make sure that we had their email so we can get them on the Relaxer Advocates email mailing list, because we're going to do a newsletter just to inform them where they are, and then if they wanted to become a understand cosmetic law, and they wanted to take the Relaxer Advocates course to become an expert witness, and if that came across their path in their city, that they can serve their law firms, or if that's what they wanted to do. But we don't have their email.
All right, so there's the email. If you are interested in learning more about becoming a professional expert,
email us. We'll have your email.
Email us at afrohairscience@gmail.com. Again, email us your email address, okay? Or you could just say, because it's going to pop up, that you are interested in taking a course on becoming an expert witness in the beauty industry, beauty and barber industry. So again, just email us at afrohairscience.com. afrohairscience@gmail.com. Again, afrohairscience@gmail.com. And I think that's pretty much it. So we look forward to seeing some of those emails come through. I am going to take the course. I don't want y'all to think that I know something that y'all don't. So I will be in class too. I might be moderating the chat, but I am definitely going to be learning as well. So please email us at afrohairscience@gmail.com if you are interested in taking that course. So we'll see you next Monday at 6 o'clock, also on Thursday at 10 o'clock p.m. So what we say when we're signing out, right, guys? Thank you so much, Sandra. A whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and for sure a whole lot of hair. Let's stop making those mistakes in 2024. And if you ain't got no hair, don't want no hair, can't stand it, can't grow it, hell, you're planning on cutting it off in 2024? Hey, it's okay, y'all, because you know what we say? all that's beautiful too, and so are you. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, and don't forget to go and check out the brothers, all right? The brothers are over on that channel again. Let me find it, Into the Night. Let me just show them. Whoops, there it goes. Into the Night blog. Oh, Bigfoot and Paranormal Talk Radio. Go check them out right here on YouTube and Facebook. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you over on Planet Pluto Pseudo at 10 o'clock on Thursday. Deuces, my good people.